what are the typical mistakes that any candidate makes when appearing for case interviews. One of the case interviews that was given to me during my time with BCG, this is my final round, and the question that I was given was how to ace case interviews. Hi, if you're new to my channel, then my name is Shatakshi. I have been having a lot of interesting content around management consulting, around public policy, around MBA, and of course I also run the CEO Diary pod on my channel. So if such topics excite you, then certainly you can hit on the subscribe button so that you are notified every time I'm making a lot of interesting content like this. As a former BCG management consultant, I've gone through this process myself, and I've helped multiple candidates to be able to clear consulting case interviews right from McKinsey, BCG to Bain, and many more. Over the last 6 years of running Global Governance Initiative, we have impacted more than 7,500 lives, and the number of people who have gotten into McKinsey, BCG, Bain, I think I've just lost the count of it. And of course, consulting is much more than just MBB also. So in this video, in a 4-pronged format, I'm going to be helping you all understand and give a beginner's guide to how to ace your case interview. So the 4 points, number 1, let's start with what the hell is case interview. So McKinsey was the company that first came up with this concept of having case interview. It is a way of checking in 30 minutes a project that you can solve or you will be solving for 6 months, or in fact for more than 6 months to a year as well. In 30 minutes, they try to gauge for 3 skills. Number 1 is problem solving skill, and what are problem solving skill? I'll explain that as well. Number 2 is structured thinking, and number 3 is your ability to communicate very clearly in structured format, especially when you are under stress. If I were to talk about what are problem solving skills, it's a jargon that a lot of people do not understand. So problem solving skill is your ability to break down a problem into its individual pieces, come to the root cause or the underlying challenge of the problem, and then structure things back. That's problem solving. Now you could be given a multiple different types of cases in the case interview. Let's say how to increase the revenue of a client, or how to go about the market strategy or the market entry strategy. So for example, I'll take one of the case interviews that was given to me during my time with BCG. This is my final round, and the question that I was given was, because I had told them that I wish to become an entrepreneur, that I did after my journey with BCG, that okay, you wish to become an entrepreneur, Shatakshi, can you tell me, there are 4 founders and 4 founders have different time allocation to the startup. How would you go about dividing the equity between the 4 of them? What will be the parameters that you will use to divide the equity in 4 of them? So that's number 1, which is the first section. What are case statements? What are the important skills in case interview? The second is the approach towards a case problem. This again, once again, I'll divide this part into 4 sections. Number 1 is clarifying the problem statement. It's very important, pivotal and critical for you to understand the problem statement. I repeat that again. You can never solve a case if you haven't understood it. You may not be from economics background, and if an economics case is given to you, it's absolutely fine to ask underlying clarifying questions. Of course, you should know the basics of inflation, basics of GDP, that they expect. How can you otherwise do public policy cases, or how can you actually do business problems if you do not know these basics, which are just out there on internet and YouTube also, right? So make sure that you clarify the problem statement. The second one is scoping the problem, understanding the timeline of the case, understanding the goals for the problem statement, understanding the current status as is. The third one is approaching the problem finally. What will be the framework that you will use? Mind you, you should not be over obsessed about the framework, but it is absolutely necessary that you use a structured approach to your problem solving. If you are not structured, then you are as good as a client, right? Hear this again. If you are not structured, then you are as good as a client. So you need to have a structured approach. You need to have a hypothesis. Hypothesis is a theory that I feel or I believe that the revenue of my client might be declining because of X reason. That's your hypothesis. But you need to have data to be able to validate the hypothesis or nullify the hypothesis. And last but not the least, you need to, after your analysis is done, you need to have a conclusion, which is where you need to have a concise recommendation, concise synthesis of each and every part of the framework, and then followed by a safe recommendation. That's the second section on how do you typically go about approaching a case interview. The third section I have actually additionally purposefully added for all of you is what are the typical pitfalls or the typical mistakes that any candidate makes when appearing for case interviews. I think once again, in the last more than decade of my career, I have interviewed or given cases to more than 200 candidates, or there could be 200 rounds multiplied by the number of candidates that we have had. And I think these are the 3 mistakes that I have seen people make. make. Number one is just lack of practice. People think that just because I have a framework, I can now crack any case and every case. And I always say that case interviews is like a math. You need to build that math muscle. You think that I have solved 2 problems and then you think I can brace myself in the board examination. No, then you'll be nervous, right? So I always suggest that do 30 to 40 cases with a buddy in a quality manner, and we will talk about the case resources also. So number one is just lack of practice. Number two is not properly communicating, because the way our school education system is surrounded, we have been just rewarded for speaking. We have not ever been rewarded for or incentivized for speaking right or being brief. So speaking in 3 points, speaking extremely clearly, those are the pitfalls that I have seen candidates make a lot of time. The third one I would say is lack of business acumen. Once again, many a times because of internet or because of so much information out there, people just think that I need to do case interview. No, you need to get your foundations right, foundations on economics right, foundations on finance right, marketing operation. You do not need to become a master of all. Rather, you need to know just enough to become a jack of all. That's exactly what the role of a consultant is, right? It's a generalist role. So those are the 3 mistakes within the third section, the typical pitfalls. With that, we move towards the fourth section. What are the resources that you can latch on to? Of course, there are a lot of material on my YouTube channel also. Over and above this, there is a very famous book, Case in Point, that you can refer to as well. Over and above this, at Global Governance Initiative, we run an impact fellowship where you will be mapped to a mentor from McKinsey, BCG or equivalent firm, whereby you'll actually do a consulting style white paper for 10 weeks, which not will just build your skills, because you are literally learning by doing, but will also build your profile. Over and above that, there will be more than 80-90 case resources that will be given to you. You will be practicing them with your buddies, and of course we come with the employment support, and on the weekend you attend master classes with Naman Srivastav, me, and of course with the CEOs and CXOs who are always invited as guest speakers. That actually helps you to always get the top level view along with Naman and me, but along with that you also get to always advance on your network. I always take a lot of pride in the fact that the strongest advantage of GJ is its community, which is extremely diverse, extremely international, extremely talented, and extremely motivated to build a career in the top quality jobs both in business and in public policy. If you like this video, feel free to share it with your friends so that they can get the help if you got the help. That's official wrap up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video session. Take care. Ciao.